Ayo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox post-game show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
He is the CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. Jake saying intro music still slaps even after a 10-run loss. It's true. I mean, no matter what, whether it's the 30 or like 40 seconds intro before our actual intro music or our actual intro music to the CHGO White Sox podcast, it always gets me hyped up. We have great music.
Slaps for Uncle Herb. That
it does
means
slap.
good?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, young
So,
fellows.
to use it as like in a sentence for you, Herb, you like Tribe Called Quest, right?
I do like.
I would say that Tribe Called Quest song slaps. Okay. All right. Maybe Uncle Herb, that Frank Sinatra song slaps.
Not that old.
Oh, okay.
We would say, man, that's a cut. That's my That's my shit. It slaps. I get you, kids. Good job, Jake.
Yeah. What also slaps is the Red Sox offense. 16-7, they beat the White Sox. White Sox fall to 22-22 on the season. Back at 500 again. A lot of different things that we can talk about in this game. The White Sox offense showed up, and Dallas Keuchel stunk it up. And a lot of different things too. We had a little bit of some bullpen discrepancies, some bullpen disagreements that we can get into. And Jason also says it right there. It's the most recent comment. Andrew Vaughn is easily the highlight of the night for the Sox. Do we want to start with the good and then go with the bad?
Yeah, because there's a lot of bad. There's very little good.
All right, well, let's start with Andrew Vaughn. I said it to you before the start of the season on some CHGO predictions that he will be the second most productive hitter for the White Sox in 2022 behind Luis Robert. And Herb, that prediction might just be wrong because of the Luis Robert part. It might be behind Tim Anderson, but Andrew Vaughn drove in 5 runs today for the White Sox. He had a home run and a bases-clearing double. He had a fantastic game at the plate today.
And his most impressive at-bat might have been his first at-bat where he flied out. He hit a ball that we clearly thought was a home run that Verdugo tried to catch off the railing, off the netting there. And then eventually, after a 10-pitch at-bat, he went out to Verdugo again and a weak fly ball to left field. But then the double down right field line was a rocket shot to score the 3 runs with the bases loaded. With the White Sox being really bad at scoring runs with the bases loaded, that was a good thing to see, even though they're down 6-0 at the time. And then that home run, mercy. I tell you what, Andrew Vaughn, it's like I say at every goddamn show, Sean, he should be starting every single game unless he's tired and or hurt. That's it. And batting at the top of the lineup. Mm-hmm. You guys remember?
Right.
That sumbitch was batting 8th or 9th like a week ago. 8th or 9th.
Monday, Sunday. Was he not batting 8th on Sunday against the Yankees?
This is ridiculous. Like, we all knew it was a mistake at the time. That guy should be always batting at the top 4 or 5 of a lineup. Even when the White Sox are at their full strength, he should be at the top because he's that good of a hitter. Like you said at the beginning of the year, he's going to be one of the most productive offensive weapons the White Sox do have.
Yeah, game 2 against the Yankees, he was slotted in that 8th spot and went 2 for 3 in that game with an RBI. So, I mean, he's been producing this entire season. Now on the season, Andrew Vaughn is hitting .292, .349, and slugging .500. Really ridiculous stuff so far for Andrew Vaughn. And I think, too, I want to go to the first at-bat you talked about. In his first 2 at-bats, he saw 15 pitches. And something we've been mentioning, too, is something that needs to come around for this team in general is the walks. They did end up walking 5 times today. A lot of those were garbage time walks, if you want to call that a thing. But Andrew Vaughn is a guy that I thought really needs to start picking up his plate discipline. And this is something he showed today. In the first 2 at-bats he had, He saw 15 pitches. Like Herb said, he ends up flying out in after the first one, but gets it to a 3-2 count. And just a beautiful job. I mean, he's fighting off changeups inside. He's working cutters away, off. He's working fastballs off. He sees all of these pitches. He sees the full gambit, basically, from Michael Wacha outside of the curveball. And then at bat number 3, here comes a cutter for Andrew Vaughn, and he takes it out into left center. It was awesome to see. Dead red cutter. And that's kind of just the idea there, Herb, is something that he's been great at this entire season is once he sees a guy after the first time, after the second time, if he sees a guy for the third time, he has just shown so much maturity to really level out some damage. It's been really great to see Andrew Vaughn's maturity at the plate.
It's a rare thing to do. We saw early Jose Abreu do that sometimes within a same at bat when he was Rookie of the Year. Now Andrew Vaughn's showing you that you're not going to get him out the same way 2 times in at bat. And then he has a huge OPS plus when he sees a guy for the second and third time in a game. So, yes, Andrew Vaughn is showing you that he's a mature hitter, that he is probably one of our best hitters. If I'm not our best hitter, I know Timmy is more consistent.
Yeah.
But, if the game's online, if you need a ball to be driven over the fence, I'm thinking a little bit more about Andrew Vaughn than Tim Anderson, or a guy that's going to work a count, too. So, Andrew Vaughn's going to turn himself into a guy who's going to make a lot of money in this league. Luckily, the Sox didn't play any games with him and manipulating his service time last year. Just got him right into the game. So I would be working on him on extension for that guy because he's coming. Get him cheap now, Rick Hahn. If you want to do that thing you do where you sign guys before they hit the actual market, sign Andrew Vaughn right now. I think it's a good shot that he's going to be good for years to come.
And I know that it's most hitters are best when they see a hitter through their first time, through their second time, through their third time. But it is just impressive to see Andrew Vaughn's career stats. First time through the order versus facing a starting pitcher, 264, that's his on-base percentage. But for the first time facing an opponent in a game for a starting pitcher, his batting average is 177, his on-base percentage 264, his slugging percentage 315 for an OPS of 579. Second time facing an opponent in a game, a starting pitcher in a game, 257 batting average, 339 OBP, a slugging of 376 for an OPS of 715. So he goes from 579 to 715. And then third time through the order, 308, 327, and get this, friends, 654 slugging for an OPS of 981. So he goes from 579 to 715 to 981. And again, third time he sees Wacha today, he takes him deep.
And that's exactly why Andrew Vaughn should be hitting at the top of the lineup because
he'll get the opportunity to see
exactly. Very rare where an eighth guy get a third at bat versus a starting pitcher, unless that starting pitcher is mowing down people. He got that at bat and he crushed Michael Wacha. And Michael Wacha, this is his first time he's given up 2 or more runs in any of the starts that he's had this year. So we did have good plans versus Michael Wacha. Mostly it was because of Andrew Vaughn's execution at the plate. So it's good to see. That's a good thing that happened in this game. That's probably about it.
But I mean, it was good to see. I mean, the White Sox did well against a right-handed starting pitcher tonight. You can say that. I mean, the offense, you see 7 runs. They should win most games when they score 7 or more runs. And it's kind of ridiculous now that I think this is at least the second game where they've scored 7 or more runs and have lost that game. The other one would be the Cleveland game where they blew a 6-run lead in the 9th inning. I mean, it's just frustrating to have an output like this because, again, the offense performed tonight. And we've seen in the first game, obviously the pitching really didn't perform. Cease got knocked around, but still 16-3. You still wanted a little bit more punch from the offense in that game. Yesterday, you only got 3 runs. You got 7 runs today. I mean, for the most part, it feels like the offense is kind of getting their footing a little bit here.
Yeah, and it's good to see that they saw 6 on the opposing ledger, and they didn't just give up. They didn't just say, oh, okay, Dallas gave us no chance to win today. And, probably they went into the game like that, like I did. I was like, Dallas is going to lose this game. Michael Walker's giving up a sub-2 ERA. It's over. And then they give up 6 in the 2 innings. And the White Sox, for giving them credit, they battled back and got into the game and made it a close game within 2 runs late in the game. And I know we'll get to those decisions by Tony La Russa surprise, surprise, Herb has a different opinion than most of you guys out there.
Look at that. And
about Tony La Russa.
Shout out to Jack for saying the Yankee game 14-7. So I guess that's 3 games right there where the White Sox have scored 3 runs or 3 games where they've scored 7 or more runs and have lost that game. That's just extremely, extremely frustrating. And it's frustrating because, you got Zach fake name saying Sox are a fake team, man. And you have David Barista saying torches or forks. Which one sounds better right now? Torches or pitchforks? I don't want to get too amped up. 44 games in the season. They're 22-22. This would have been a nice win to have. You have the Minnesota Twins losing to the Royals. They kind of give you a win right there. They give you a leg up, and you're not able to take it. But the frustrating part about this game, Herb, I think, is just, Dallas Keuchel didn't give you a chance from the get-go.
No, and Mailman Jack is so sick of Fort Worth Keuchel. It's not – Fort Worth is a little too good for Dallas right there. I would call him like Natchitoches Keuchel. He was terrible today. Just absolutely.
Natchitoches?
That's another town in Texas.
Okay.
He was just awful today. And it's not his fault. He doesn't have it. They gave him the contract. I thought he would be better this year because last year he said he had a back problem. Now this year I was like, all right, you had a nice offseason, got married, back problems are going to be subsided, which they never do. Back problems usually persist. But he better have a back problem because otherwise he's just toast. We all see it. We all know it. And it's going to be hard for Rick Hahn and Jerry Reinsdorf to let him go. I would easily let him go because it's a sunk cost. You're going to be paying him $18 million no matter what. Pay him $18 million not to be on your team because right now he's hurting your team much more than he's helping your team. Much more. I would rather him be on some other team facing the White Sox than on the White Sox pitching this poorly, giving your team out the gate, no chance to win, and then putting your bullpen in flux. And so when you do come back, you have very hard decisions to make of putting in Tanner Banks or putting in Bennett Susan or other people. So, yes, this should be Dallas Keuchel's last start as a White Sox pitcher. Now, I don't know if he just goes to the bullpen, but he shouldn't start another game for the White Sox. Not one. I don't care if they don't have another pitcher available. Find one in the minor leagues. Who's the pitcher we just saw down in the minor leagues? Davis Martin?
Yeah.
I would much rather see Davis Martin give up more runs than see Dallas Keuchel pitch ever again for the White Sox. And it's not because the guy's a bad guy. He's not a great guy, but he's not. I don't dislike the person. I just dislike the pitcher. The pitcher is toast, gone. And he needs to go somewhere else, somebody else's team. And Rick Hahn has to see that. He has to beg Jerry to let him do it. Otherwise, why is he there?
Well, I think we can all agree that it's a sunk cost. I think that we had the feeling going into the year that it was going to be a sunk cost of $18.5 million. I see Fred saying $55 million might be the worst contract in team history. It is tough to find innings in the major leagues. He gave you 2 years of decent work. He wasn't great. Obviously, he didn't make the playoff roster last year, but it's not the worst contract in team history. I think that's going a little bit too far. Adam Dunn was pretty damn bad.
Adam LaRoche was bad too.
Adam LaRoche was pretty bad, right? I think that the idea, though, and the frustration is, a lot of people keep saying it, is a World Series team, and you can't have a pitcher that has a 7.88 ERA on it. And then that's truly what it is. The White Sox have been trying to find some length to bridge the gap to get to Lance Lynn, and I think that they are trying to crawl with Dallas Keuchel, trying to get them there, getting a 3-2 victory over the Red Sox, getting a victory with him on the bump when you face the Yankees, right? They're just trying to crawl to the finish line with him. He's done, though. Like they're absolutely out of gas with Dallas Keuchel. I feel like tomorrow should be his last day with the White Sox. It just seems like the writing is on the wall, and it felt like the writing was on the wall when he gets a called strike on pitch 1, and he throws the same exact pitch to Enrique Hernandez on the second pitch, and he just tattoos it into left field for a home run. It's not working anymore for Dallas Keuchel. It's $18.5 million. There's no point to have his contract qualify for next year. Just end it. It's not going to help your team this year to keep him on for any longer. He's not going to be helped by staying on this team for any longer. It just feels like it's the right time to go because you have Vince Velasquez who can get you, the next 2 weeks to get you to Lance Lynn.
And it looks like the White Sox have given up a lot of home runs to Enrique Hernandez. He's got 3 on the year. Enrique's got 2 versus the White Sox in this series. Even Plawecki hit his first home run of the year, I believe, in the 9th inning versus Josh Harrison. And some people were talking about Josh Harrison should pitch over Keuchel. Wouldn't be worse. Wouldn't be worse. I mean, hell, that man. I feel sorry for him and his.
Keuchel?
Yeah, I mean, he's got money to soothe him. I got it, people. But a guy just falling off the table like that after a sensational 2020. It must feel bad. And I know, we're going to hear from Vinny. He's probably like, man, if the ball was, stayed in the ballpark in that first pitch, I would have been all right. You know, if I didn't give up 6 runs, I could have went to the third. I was mad when Tony took me out of the second after the second inning because I was rolling. I was starting to get it going, guys.
Jake's saying this is like John Danks all over again, except I actually feel bad for John Danks. I would agree with that. I mean, John Danks was here for a long time. Dallas Keuchel was supposed to be, maybe a John Lester-like piece for the White Sox, kind of that finishing piece to the rotation. And, he just hasn't lived up to that contract. If you want to say Dallas Keuchel hasn't lived up to the contract, that's more than fair. I don't know if it's the worst contract in team history, but even then, it's a little bit up here in the comments. Sorry, I can't see the name, Keuchel. There's no way Keuchel pitches in the bullpen. I can't imagine a situation where I'd want to see him on the mound in a save situation for a team that struggles to score runs. I just don't think that he's going to be worked into a bullpen role. It's not been in his past repertoire. He's never come out of the bullpen before. He's made $18 million as a starting pitcher this year. It would really be surprising to see him go to the bullpen and see if the White Sox want him in the bullpen. He doesn't have his command. He doesn't have any of his stuff. There's nothing really there.
Do you, in your heart of hearts, do you think Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams and Jerry Reinsdorf will DFA Dallas Keuchel?
I think they have to, and I think if they don't, it's a really bad look. It's a really bad signal. At this point, Josh Harrison and Leury Garcia underperforming at second base. Second base is a bad position, right? And you can call up Yolbert Sanchez, you could call up Lennon Sosa, but there's no guarantee that those guys will be ready. Josh Harrison and Leury Garcia have proven that they've been able to go through the ups and downs of a major league season and at least been average throughout 162. I think you're probably going to get average play from Harrison and Garcia by the end of the year. But it doesn't feel like that's happening. I don't think that's coming around the corner for Dallas Keuchel. And I just think that, you need to have a better outing each 5 days. And, you're going to be paying him $18.5 million this year, no matter what, whether he pitches to the end of the year for you and you don't put him on the playoff roster, or if you go and cut him right now. And I think you're better off to win, an actual World Series by cutting him now. I don't see the benefit in keeping him around because you can't send him down to AAA. You can't put him in the bullpen. And if he makes another start, I might rip off what hair I have left off my head.
I was thinking something else. I don't think they're going to actually DFA Dallas.
What else can they do? Yeah,
Please
I don't know.
Prove me wrong. Because I'm going to hear this, Dallas in innings, he's a veteran, Gold Glove, and he used to be in Cy Young. I'm going to hear that same garbage. Well, Dallas is one of the best 7 pitchers we have as a starter. Like, choose one and get rid of the bad one. Please, Jesus. But I know that it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. They're not the Mets. They're not Steve Cohen, where he's just like, yeah, that guy sucks. I'll eat that salary of $40 million of Robinson Cano so he can not play on my team this year. And my team can succeed, as you see the Mets are doing. But the White Sox are too worried about the bottom line and garbage like that instead of winning baseball games. That's a novel concept.
Yeah, right. Fred's saying, think the Yankees or Dodgers would DFA him. Damn right they would.
They would have already DFA'd him.
Right, and that's the thing is, I just... At this point, what are we looking for Dallas Keuchel? What are we looking from Dallas Keuchel? I don't think his ground ball rate is going to, magically rebound. I don't think he's going to become a guy that can find the zone and locate effectively. I think it's just done for him. I think that the writing's on the wall. You got to stop paying the guy. And, Tony doesn't trust Keuchel to go 6 innings. He absolutely doesn't. Keuchel saying, I need to protect the bullpen, and that's why I need to go 6 innings. And here he come out and, giving up 6 earned runs in 2 innings. It's just not it. anymore. And I think Davis Martin would at least be effective enough to at least give you a different look. Vince Velasquez has been fine enough. Johnny Cueto's been fine enough. Lance Lynn will be back soon enough. I do think that, his days here are numbered for the Sox. Ernesto Hernandez saying maybe they find a mysterious injury and place him on the IL. That just seems tough, though, right?
Yeah, he's probably not going to go along with it. But tomorrow is a perfect day. Friday is a perfect day to DFA Dallas Keuchel. You do it at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, bury it in a news cycle. No one's playing tomorrow, neither the Cubs nor the Sox. People like us and The Score and other radio stations would be like, oh, man, it's so late. And, people would rejoice. It'll be a good thing. Most White Sox fans would be like, thank Jesus. Finally, we do the right thing heading into a big series with the Cubs and then going into the AL East road games with Toronto and Tampa Bay. Because if he's pitching in Toronto, they're going to murder him. Or Tampa, they're going to crush him. And then we're just wasting our bullpen. Then we have problems like we have today where we're arguing versus each other because we're like, Tony fuck up today? No, Tony was good today. Like, we're having these arguments for no reason because a shitty pitcher can only go 2 innings and give up 6 earned runs. That's just a thing that makes Tony and all the rest of the staff look bad when Dallas Keuchel doesn't do his job. All I want is a fifth starter. I've told you time and time again, 5 innings of 4 earned runs or less. That's it. That's not a lot to ask for. That's the bare minimum. That is a shitty pitcher. If you are a 5-inning, 4 earned runs or less guy. Like, if you give up 4 earned runs and you're only 5 innings, you're a terrible pitcher.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Well,
and he can't even get that.
And too, it's just like, what pitcher out there in Major League Baseball could give you 5 innings, over 30 starts? If you have known him for his entire career, that he probably needs to be managed. His innings need to be managed and stuff. A guy that was likely in house. Carlos Rodon was here. Guys, I know I keep bringing him up, but you could have had Dallas Keuchel. You could have had Carlos Rodon, and I understand that Dallas Keuchel, you would need to cut his money and then still sign Carlos Rodon. But it's just frustrating seeing him go out the door when you could have easily had a fifth starter that was already on the team this year, and it's frustrating. I want to go back up to a comment from Alec. He said your guy Loho keeps referring to most likely a phantom IL stint. I just don't see that happening. What's the benefit to delaying the inevitable? I really don't understand. Also, in Alex saying Rodon won't pitch after July, he literally pitched in September last year. He also pitched in October last year. So I don't understand that whole narrative. But with the phantom IL stint for Keuchel, this is a guy that cannot get ground balls like he needs to at a rate he needs to be successful. He's pitching behind one of the worst defense in Major League Baseball, if not the worst defense in Major League Baseball. It's a horrible just combination for him. He doesn't pitch fast. He's not showing any deception like Rich Hill is showing throughout his life.
I was literally about to say. Yeah.
We know Mark Burley being this guy that works at this breakneck pace, right? Dallas Keuchel is one of the slowest workers in the White Sox right now for starting pitchers. He works slow. He can't command. He doesn't have a good defense behind him. He can't get a ground ball. He's not effective. Let's stop with the whole phantom IL stuff. Let's cut bait. Let's move on. I mean, this is a 22 and 22 team, a 500 team after 44 games. Dallas Keuchel is not helping you win games, period.
And I was just going to reference what this guy who's calling us is going to say when he met up with Dallas Keuchel and the assembled media and Tony La Russa. But you got to do a read before we get to
the
Vinny.
Best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. Make a $50 or more first-time deposit. You'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all the RoWeb content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. PointsBet is your home for live in-play betting, and it's just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's newest feature, the live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live NBA same-game parlay only with PointsBet. You can combine your favorite bets anytime during the game, and if you want more, you can also boost your live same-game parlays. You can watch live, parlay live, and boost live with PointsBet. Online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life at PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700, and we will go out to Guaranteed Rate Field to welcome in the CHGO White Sox beat writer, Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And if you're looking to read Vinnie's fantastic work, you could become a member at allchgo.com. You get premium written content for members. When you sign up to become a member, you get a free shirt of your choice, and you get access into our CHGO Lounge. It's a members-only Discord where you get to talk to us, the CHGO personalities. Hi, Vinny.
Fellas, how are you?
We've been better.
It's a long game, Vinny. I don't care if they
You're
lose.
telling me.
But lose quicker.
What time did you show up today?
What time did I get here? Like 2:45-ish? Yeah.
All right, so you've been there for 9 hours?
Yeah.
That's fun, isn't it? I'm guessing you talked to Dallas Keuchel and Tony La Russa after this one. What is the thought after Dallas's 2-inning outing?
I mean, it's not good. No one's happy. It's, Dallas is frustrated. Dallas is disappointed. Tony La Russa didn't really want to talk about the long-term stuff, but I have a feeling that's all anybody cares about right now. We just talked to Dallas. He's kind of known for being pretty blunt, and he was asked a pretty blunt question about whether he's, thinking about his spot in this rotation moving forward, and he basically said no. He basically said that, he realizes what the results have been, that the last 2 outings have been really bad. But, he pointed out that he has he used the term, afforded myself some leeway, with some of the accomplishments that he's had throughout his career. And there's been a lot of them, no doubt about it. Being a veteran, being a guy who's been there before, he thinks that maybe he has the ability to take the time that he needs to get this figured out. And, being the athlete who is confident in his ability and confident in the stuff that got him to this point, he thinks that things are going to turn around for him. The numbers are the numbers, and they are really bad. That ERA is up near 8. We thought we saw the worst of his career last year, and to this point, this is blowing it out of the water. So, I give Dallas credit for answering the questions, for being confident in himself. But you do wonder, with the things that the White Sox are trying to do this year, which is be the best team in baseball, win the World Series, how much longer can they afford to keep throwing him out there to do this kind of thing?
And this is the problem. The 2 innings that he pitched and the 6 earned runs he gave up puts people like Tony La Russa in a trick bag, because later in the game, Sox are only down by 2, and they have limited options because they had to go to people like Raylo and other people in the game before they get to Tanner Banks in the 7th inning. Did Tony speak about that decision there? I thought it was the right decision because he really didn't have anybody else except for Bennett Sousa and people who had been used the day before in Kendall Graveman and Liam Hendricks. Did Tony speak about going to Tanner Banks right and the game kind of getting out of hand right after that?
Yeah, he didn't really even want to use Sousa. I mean, obviously Sousa came in and pitched, but he didn't really want to use him. Obviously, Aaron Bummer wasn't going to pitch after throwing the last 2 days. I think that I think that you're right. There really weren't many options for him. He said he was only going to use Graveman or Hendricks if there was a chance to win a close game. I understand this was the talking point on Twitter throughout the night, but the offense, the offense never was given the chance to make up the 6 runs that Dallas Keuchel gave up until the game was well out of reach. So when your starting pitcher, gives up 2 runs or 6 runs in the first 2 innings, there's really not much more you can say about that. That's a pretty deep hole to put your team in. And Dallas was, acknowledging that the most frustrating part about this for him is what he foisted upon the rest of his team, what he made the bullpen have to do, that he made the defense behind him kind of wear it after he left, right? I mean, he 2 innings, he didn't do very well, and he got to leave. And the rest of the team had to stay there and play a 4-hour game, and get blown out. So, I understand bullpen management is always a hot button issue, but it starts and ends, in my opinion, with Dallas, not getting the job done tonight.
This is a minor thing, well, maybe a major thing, but the collision between Jose Abreu and Leury Garcia, this is the second time we've seen it in 2 days. Communication on this team, it's got to be something that these guys got to be talking about. Did Tony speak about it, even though it wasn't a necessary thing that cost them the game? It just, to me, that is a symptom of a team that's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we talked about it last night, and I think I'm watching the same game you are, and I sometimes get the benefit of being able to hear guys call it from the press box sometimes, but yeah, it seems to me like there's not a lot of talking going on, or at least not enough to prevent this kind of thing from happening on a regular basis. I don't know if that is vastly different than what goes on across Major League Baseball. I really, you know what I mean? I don't watch every inning of every other team's game to know whether that is a common thing or if the White Sox are particularly, egregious in doing that. But, it seems like it happens a lot. And it seems like it happens in dangerous ways. I mean, you saw a guy in Jose Abreu who you want to limit the number of, maladies that he has to deal with after what you saw him go through last year. So I really think that they've got to shout a little louder. That seems to be something you learn in Little League, but maybe they are doing it, and we're just not picking it up. Who knows?
Want to go back to Dallas Keuchel. A lot of people are reacting to his bluntness. What leeway do you think he might be referring to himself? Just, the fact that he is a former Cy Young, has, those skins on the wall. Is that what he's referring to when he says leeway?
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, I mean, listen, the guy got a huge contract for being an immensely accomplished pitcher. He is a former Cy Young winner. He's a World Series champion. He's a guy that even in his worst year of his career won his 5th career Gold Glove. He's proven that he knows how to win, and I think that if he was pitching even marginally better, you could understand why the White Sox would want to give him the time to figure that out. Because if it clicks for him, you've got a guy who's been to the World Series before, and that's where you're trying to go. You want a guy who's going to be able to guide you there. Obviously, the way he's pitching right now, he's not going to be able to do that. And I think I would have to guess that that's what he's referring to. He's a veteran, you know what I mean? He's a guy who, when he signed, was among the top class of pitchers in baseball, and then he goes out in 2020 and has a year that puts him in the near the top of the Cy Young vote. I understand that people have made up their minds on him after last year, and that's fine. And this year has been worse. And so you don't have to be an expert to know that he's not getting the job done. I think that when it's quote unquote early, which is another thing people are sick of hearing, you can take the time to try to get him to figure it out. But it gets less and less early every day, and it's Memorial Day weekend, and it's kind of done being early. So I think that the White Sox have, a decision that's not going to be easy. I know everybody out there watching thinks it's easy, but there's the price tag involved, and that's not good, whether you can afford it or not. But with the options that this team has right now, and especially once Lance Lynn comes back, it's looking like the experiment might be coming to an end.
It looks like that. It feels like tomorrow would be just a very clean point to break it off with him, just because he just pitched, 90-plus pitches or whatever. He won't be available for 5 days or something like that. So if you got rid of him, you'd be able to call up a bullpen arm to kind of help this bullpen for this Cubs series. Do you think that we would see that move tomorrow, and do you think we will see that move tomorrow?
I mean, let's put it this way. Last year, when things were not going right for him, obviously it was the second half of the season, and they had a huge lead in the division, so much different circumstances. But I would have said, oh, there's no way, right? I mean, this is Dallas Keuchel. This is a guy that you gave a huge free agent contract to. Obviously, I just listed off all the accomplishments. I would say, yeah, there's no way. But the numbers are grotesque right now, and so I think that there's certainly a possibility that could happen. I think there would have to be a possibility that would happen because, they're not getting much above 500 here. They're not closing that gap with Minnesota, and they've got to start to do that. They have plenty of time to do it, but they got to start doing it. And letting him go out there and do these kind of things are not a way to do that.
want to speak about how the team never gave up. It was 6-0. They came back, got close to the Boston Red Sox, and even late, they drew 5 walks, got 10 hits. Did he talk about just the never quit attitude the White Sox offense had today?
Yeah, he complimented it. He was pissed though. I mean, he was pissed they lost. You know what I mean?
He doesn't take like moral victories like that. He's like, nah, loss sucked.
I mean, yeah, he's willing to compliment it. He spoke very highly of Andrew Vaughn, who had a great game. He spoke highly of them getting to where they did, but I mean, they were awful today. I mean, yeah, they had some good things, but they got crushed, and it's not something that makes anybody happy to talk about.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of made it a little, convoluted was just the bullpen management. I was wondering if there's any talk about Reynaldo Lopez. People are kind of frustrated. They haven't seen him for 3 innings, 4 innings. The max he's gone this year is 2 innings in an outing. The most max pitches he's thrown on an outing this year is 29. He hasn't surpassed 30 pitches this year. Is there a thought, or is there been any talk about what the plan with Raylo is now being in this bullpen role? Like, or is it out of the question to see Reynaldo pitch for 3 to 4 innings this year?
I don't think it's out of the question. It shouldn't be, right? But I think that there's maybe the idea that he's good enough to have a different role, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, they signed Vince Velasquez with the hope being that he would be the swing man, right? That he would be the long reliever and the guy who provides starting depth if needed. I don't know, obviously he was in the rotation until this week, but you've got a guy now who can provide you innings in the bullpen. They had a surprise guy that could provide them innings in the bullpen in Tanner Banks. Obviously he has fallen off since a very nice start, but I think Reynaldo Lopez has maybe been elevated to the kind of guy that can pitch in more critical situations and doesn't just need to go up there and sop up innings, when games go bad like they did tonight. Now, he was the first guy out of the bullpen in that very situation tonight, I understand. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with him. I think that they maybe want to be able to use him in a different kind of a role than maybe we all predicted just because of that starting pitching background that he has. So, it does not seem to me at any point this season that he was being viewed by the team as starting pitching depth. We might have viewed him that way, and I think we had reason to, but I think they see him as a different kind of pitcher that can pitch, effective relief, inning or innings in more critical situations.
Man, I got anything else for you. It was a depressing game. 4 hours. You need to go home. I mean, hell, that was way too much for us, and I could not imagine being there for 9 hours.
Man, I mean, it's just they're bad right now, right? I mean, like they have that, and you can't even really say that because it's not just loss, right? I mean, they have these high points, these high moments. I mean, heck, they won yesterday. They had that great day on Sunday. I mean, but it's always one step forward, one step back, or 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, and this series was just it was watching them just. I mean, come on, they gave up 30-something runs in 3 games. Like, you can't do that. And when the offense is not turned it around yet. Now, obviously, they had some runs tonight, but in a game where it was decided pretty early, it's concerning if you're the White Sox. I would have to think that by Memorial Day you thought you'd be doing better. Now, part of the thing that we talked to Dallas Keuchel about was, asking him about the team in general. He's usually good to give some assessments on what's going on in general. And I think the thought is, look at that roster. They're so good. They've got all this talent. And it's true, right? It's true. But, how long are you going to sit around and wait for these guys to turn it around? So, I can understand why people are frustrated, because watching it, you're like, wow, this is not what we expected.
Yeah, we've heard similar things from A.J. Pollock, and it's just, at this point, it also sounds like they might be pressing a little bit. It just feels like,
How could you not be? How could you not be? You know what I mean? And I think you saw one inning there where they took all those walks, and that's fine, and that's on the Boston pitcher too. I mean, they've got a 9-run lead, and he's out there walking guys. But that kind of thing needs to be there throughout the game, right? And you're seeing way too many 1, 2, 3 innings from this offense. You're seeing you're not seeing the kind of it doesn't matter what the score is, we're going to be the same all the time. And we did see that late in the game from guys like Abreu and Grandal who drew some walks and got on base. I mean, it's just they do not look anywhere close to what we thought they were going to look like, and that is surprising. And I think by this point in the season, it's surprising. Now, listen, they're going to get Lance Lynn back. They're going to get Eloy Jimenez back, and maybe it's nothing but roses from there. Who knows? But yeah, right now it's shocking to see this offense doing this so regularly, and then obviously when you can't have the pitching do what they did against Boston, with the exception of the middle game.
We're worried because we're just everyday type of fans. When do you think they get worried, or already are they worried?
Well, here, I mean, I'll tell you this. I think a lot of people hear the answers that they give, and they go, "Oh, they have a vastly different approach." They want to win every game too. I mean, they get just as frustrated when they lose. I mean, I just told you about Tony La Russa, who wouldn't even comment on Dallas's long-term future because he wanted to talk about what happened today, and he was mad about it. Obviously, his mood is dictated by the results of every game. Rick Hahn has talked so many times about being up in where from his vantage point during a game when things are going wrong and pacing around and swearing and stuff like that. These guys aren't they're not lackadaisical over what's going on here, and I think to ask when do they start to get worried, I think they're worried on a daily basis if things don't go right. I think that they know what this game is and they know the perspective it takes, and it is a 6-month marathon, and we are not even a third of the way through it right now. So they have the perspective. It doesn't mean they don't have the same emotion.
Well, and they're just a weird team. I've had this stat: the White Sox record when scoring 5 or more runs, they're 7-5, which is a win percentage of 58.3. The MLB record when scoring 5 or more runs is 413 and 100, a win rate of 80. Right, so they're about 20% worse when scoring 5 runs or more. When scoring 4 runs or less, they're 15-17. That's a win rate of 46.8%. The MLB record when scoring 4 runs or less is 241 and 554 for a win rate of 30%. So they're winning games they shouldn't be, and they're losing games, honestly, they shouldn't be as well. I mean, they scored 7 runs. I mean, that's been the big issue with this team is the offense, and they score 7 runs today and they get blown out. So it's just, it's frustrating. Final 2 things I want to hit with you. Yoan Moncada, he had the day off today. They'll have the day off tomorrow on Friday. He'll be in the lineup for the Cubs, I'm assuming, on Saturday. And then also Josh Harrison is the first position player to make we just talked about this with you. So I just thought we'd bring it up. Were you surprised to see Josh Harrison be the first position player used as a pitcher?
I guess. And when he was throwing those warm-up pitches, I was like, oh boy. But hey, let's put it this way. He gave up 2 runs, but at least the inning went a little quick, didn't it?
Yes. He was grabbing and going.
Yes. So there you go.
All right. And then Yoan Moncada back on Saturday, right?
I would imagine, yeah. He's not injured. He's just, got the day off today. So yeah, I would imagine he'll be back on Saturday, yeah.
All right, and we will see you on Saturday. You'll be back on Saturday. We have Cubs and Sox on Saturday and Sunday. We'll be doing a pregame show with the CHGO Cubs crew on Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll be doing our own separate postgame. So we'll talk to you on Saturday and Sunday, Vinny.
2 teams that'll be coming off losses of a combined 40 runs or something, right?
Yes. Whatever. What's 6 minus 7? 9, right? 9, and then they lost 20-15. What's 15 plus 9? That's the run
24.
differential. Yeah, minus
it's 24. You're asking
minus
me basic addition? Come on, Sean. You can do that in your head,
I can't do that. So you know what? That's why I'm asking you, because you can do that. So thank you, Vinny, for your math.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Buy Human Calculator. You can follow Vinny on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And another important thing, too, is
Alex said it too, 24.
Thank you, Alec. Well, he's an accountant.
He was just replying to what his favorite show was.
Yes, that's he's a huge Jack Bauer guy. If you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. You may be wondering what that web content is. You get access into the CHGO Discord. That's the CHGO Lounge. You get to chat with all of us CHGO personalities. When you get a CHGO membership, you get a free t-shirt, so you get to pick out any of our awesome designs from the CHGO locker and that exclusive web content. You just heard from Vinnie Duber right there, the CHGO beat writer. If you're looking for Vinnie Duber's game recaps, any of the stories, the news and notes, the little quotes he picks up from these post-game stuff, the pre-game stuff, all of that is at allchgo.com. This is the best way to sign up. Help support PointsBet. Help support CHGO. Download the PointsBet app. Use code CHGO. Make a deposit of $50 or more when you make a first-time deposit, and you'll receive a free CHGO membership. Online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Snake Eye says 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's the White Sox. I know. And it is frustrating.
Song.
Yeah, what's that?
That's a Paul Abdul song.
That is. And opposites do attract.
Yeah. Scat Cat.
And I think that's why, and we could go now to the other 42. We've been talking about this. Sticky says it. Then we'd be at 33%, 1 forward, 1 back, still a 500 ball club. The whole saying, folks, is you win 60, you win 60, you lose 60. It's the other 42 that count. So right now, we're going through the whole edition. They've played 42 games. We can count 14 true wins that they've had.
44 games, right?
Oh, 44 games. I don't know how to do math. This is why we need Vinny. 14 true games that they've won, 14 true games that they've lost, and then about 16 that have been up in the air so far. This one goes into the loss column easily after being down 6-0 after the second inning.
Yeah, 2 of these Red Sox losses go into that automatic loss column, and then yesterday's victory versus the Red Sox goes in the automatic win column because it looked early kind of shaky, but the 3-run home run holding on to that 3-1 victory was pretty much a win from the 5th inning on. So, yeah, it's getting real shaky for the White Sox. Those 42, they're using up a lot of them.
Right.
and they're 8 losses on the 16 games that they have in that category. So it's very, very frustrating that you should be more like we showed the graphic the other day, more like the 2016 Cubs, who only lost 1 game of the 42, if we calculated that correctly.
They didn't lose a single one.
Yeah,
they were 42-0.
Okay, they were 42-0. And then
because they went 103 and 59.
Yeah, and so that's what we're holding the White Sox to. I know they're not that, but we're still holding them to a championship standard as the GM wants to. They're not close to it. 22-22 is not acceptable for any of you guys out there. And yes, they're still in striking distance, 4.5 games behind the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota! But that's very frustrating.
Minnesota!
And Tom Paints points out a negative 42 run differential will do that for you. It's really bad.
Yeah.
The fact that they are 500 is a miracle because they are not scoring a lot of runs. And their starting pitching, for the most part, is good. Sans Dallas, sans a couple bad starts by Cease and other people throughout the season. This team should be worse than they are right now. So to be at 22-22 is a godsend because they haven't hit. I don't know what's going to change. Having Eloy back is going to be great. Having Lance Lynn back is going to be awesome. Is that going to propel us to the next level? Is that going to propel this team to the next level? I don't think so. Something's got to happen inside. I thought the whole fight and the whole Tim Anderson versus Josh Donaldson would be a galvanizing thing for guys that playing for each other and moving forward to be the team that they should be. But they have not come close to that. And maybe, as Jack Schnitz is not pointing out, but he's just saying Minnesota Buxton's, maybe that Buxton home run kind of killed this team. I don't
know about that.
Like
That's real early.
That destroyed me.
Yeah.
That home run, just the thought of it keeps on creeping up on me. I'm like, what the fuck did you throw the pitch to Byron Buxton
right now
with a base open? That's just dumb.
Right now the Sox are 10-12 at home. I feel like that will change, right? That's bad. But, in the past 3 years since 2019, they're 110 and 81 at home. That's a win percentage of 57%. So I feel like that's going to turn around. Minnesota also does stink, too. Alex Rood is right about that.
They're 4.5 games ahead of us.
That's true, but I mean, we've seen this Sox team. Like they've stunk in very weird ways. When they score a bunch of runs, they lose games, right? They're blowing games, but they also get these great these great pitching performances. I'm not too worried about Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn will be fine, especially with the soft schedule that they have in the second half. Like the soft schedule is something that you can't overlook. The White Sox have the easiest schedule in the second half. They have 2 games up against the Cubs. You'll be feeling a lot better after these 2 games against the Cubs. You got Wade Miley on the bump and you got Keegan Thompson on the bump. I swear to God, if the White Sox...
Will I, Sean?
I don't know.
Keegan Thompson going to come here
Honestly,
and throw 7 shutout innings. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, man. And then Wade Miley, we kill lefties, but he's going to be some crafty garbage like Dick Mountain was the other day and striking all the White Sox out on a Sunday afternoon. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be pissed. Like, why are you pissed? It's only 45 games into the season or 46 games in the season. I'm like, because we're not good. The White Sox are not good. And Wayne from Wisconsin, I saw your comment earlier. We appreciate you listening. We love you, too, as much as you love the show. And if you guys are out there listening to the podcast, hey, send us a thing at CHGO_White Sox on Twitter and say where you're listening from. Thank you for listening to our show on this Friday morning. I know it's been a long day. We've been at this sumbitch forever. 12:09 already when we're recording this. Can you believe that, Sean?
No, I cannot believe that.
It's way past my bedtime. My alarm has already gone. My phone, you can see it says sleep well, Herb. Go your ass to sleep.
Mine went off at 11, so I'm
literally
I'm
says
well there.
You guys can't see it. It says go your ass to sleep, Herb.
Lil Yumper says Keegan Thompson is decent. Our guy KPW is finally back. And he says Keegan Daniel Lynch Thompson. I'm not worried about that. I'm definitely be more worried about Keenan Thompson rather than Keegan Thompson. We had Cody talking all his shit about Keegan Thompson.
Cody from CHGO Cubs?
From CHGO Cubs. He was talking all his shit about, Keegan Thompson being all this good, and then Tim Anderson took him the other way and hit a home run. I am not worried about the White Sox versus the Cubs. I think that the White Sox, especially Dylan Cease versus the Cubs lineup, he should absolutely eat. This is a Reds team that just got right against the Cubs. This Cubs team is not good, and this is a Red Sox team that is hitting their strides, and I understand that it didn't look good for these 3 games, right? But we can now look back. You went 4-2 against this Red Sox team. You got your ass kicked at home.
Those 2 losses.
But you also, in those 2 losses, you scored what? 5 and 7 runs. You scored 12 runs in 2 games. That's 6 runs. That's more than any other damn run. That's more than any other game that they're scoring. I mean, like, this is a brutal team. They're just not scoring runs. But what we've seen over the past couple weeks, or the past couple weeks, it feels like the offense is coming around a little bit.
It is, but as I was on Sunday after that victory versus the Yankees, the doubleheader sweep, that's how low I am right now. After losing to the Boston Red Sox 2 out of 3, and then those 2 losses were just ass kickings. How many of these have we had? Like on Tuesday after that game, we were like,
but one's a Dallas Keuchel ass kicking.
Yeah, it's like, so how many of it have we had?
You're owed one of those.
Yeah, it's like, how many have we had? And that was a lot. And I was like, we could stop having these games where we're a flush it game. We can just have one 2 days later. Right. Yeah, Dallas Keuchel sucks. I knew it was going to suck today. Everybody did. So that's up to Rick Hahn to say, I don't want somebody sucking on my mound. Step up, Rick Hahn. Step up.
Yeah.
Instead of talking, instead of, we got a championship. We don't ask me after the parade. What fucking parade? Which one? Bud Billiken? I'll ask you after that one. Because there won't be a championship one unless you start getting actual players in this sumbitch. The pitchers are, Dallas Keuchel is terrible. You need to DFA him immediately. If you're watching, tell whoever you need to tell. Say you hate Herb. Call me on the phone, or when I go on the score, Teflon, I love your jokes. Do something. I'm tired of this. This is a real team. Look at these people here. Listen to the people who are listening to this podcast right now. There are people listening to a podcast about a 22 team, a shit team. How? You got to do something. I'm tired of coming here every day, being hopeful, thinking that your vision and your plan was solid. And I'm tired of you have an excuse of having not hired Tony La Russa. That shit is sailed. That ship is sailed. It's done. You need to act now.
Yeah.
Jeremy Haber, Kenny Williams, whoever fuck it is. I don't care who it is. We need to do something better. And I know that you feel the same way that we do because you probably are a harder fan than anybody else. I've seen you at games. You get pissed all the time. Take that pissed off attitude and turn it into some action, not garbage like we've had.
Well, and the one thing too, like the excuse for, Tony's not your manager. You won 93 fucking games with him last year. His new lineup each and every day. Fans hate it, right? You had 153 lineups last year. You still won 93 games, right? So that's the frustrating part is that there is no excuse. You need to start taking action. You're 100% right about that. We don't need to see Dallas Keuchel start again for the Chicago White Sox. That's pretty clear and evident for most fans out there. But outside of that, I mean, I just got to preach patience. Like, I don't see what other moves can be made. Like, starting pitcher is the one place that needs to be upgraded, but I think the rest of the team is going to be upgraded, and I know White Sox fans hate hearing this, by health, right? You're going to get Eloy back. But I don't know where else this team can truly upgrade because they don't have pieces. That guy that you're telling to make a better team, to put a better team out there, he's got the worst farm system in baseball. He's got it. He did not go out and spend this offseason. His first signing was Vince Velasquez.
He should move aside. If he can't make this team better, he should move aside. The Dallas Keuchel thing should be in the house. That should already have been done. That is a slam dunk of a move that everybody would agree with. Dallas Keuchel would even be like, man, you shit, I didn't deserve to be in that team, even though his comments say different. After you DFA him, I'm sure he'd be like, hey, man, give me my $18 million. I'll go somewhere else, and I deserve to be DFA'd. Everybody on the team knows that. And I can't imagine going to a game knowing your pitcher's going to give up all those runs. Like, I'm sure White Sox fans or White Sox players were like, yeah, Dallas is going to be all right today. But in their heart of hearts, they knew it wasn't going to be all right. They saw that second pitch to Kike Hernandez, like, here we go. Here we go again. And then when Trevor Story hits a home run, here we go again. It's still the same thing all the time. I just want difference. I want you to act like you. I mean, I'm sure he cares, but having Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the, 8th start this year with an 80 ERA, tells me you don't care. Tells me you don't care about winning.
It tells to me that they're just trying to skate by. I don't know if they don't care, but I think they're just skating by. They're trying to skate and make it to Lance Lynn, right? Yeah, Johnny Cueto was a flyer.
It's always like this, though. It's every year. It's like, we'll get this guy healthy. That's like a trade acquisition.
Right.
That's the dumbest in the world.
And that's why.
Stop it.
That's why this team just made it to their first postseason for the first time ever in back-to-back seasons, right? This is not a championship franchise. This is why we keep seeing loser season after loser season. This is why the rebuild hasn't taken off just yet. And I mean, the more and more we get into this season, the less and less wins you get, the clearer and clearer that this is on Rick Hahn. This is Rick Hahn's failure just as much as it is his success. If this team succeeds and wins a World Series, it's Rick Hahn's success. If they lose and they don't win a World Series, they're not able to capture a World Series in that long window that they tell you they have, that's Rick Hahn's fault. That's Rick Hahn's failure. And it's going to start here with Dallas Keuchel in 2022. It might go all the way to failures in 2025, but it might be the consistent same mistakes over and over again. And even though this is early into the window, I get your concerns because, this guy, we know how really tight this front office is. We know how tight this organization is. They don't really like shaking things up near the top. So Teflon Han's a great nickname for a reason because the guy is fairly untouchable in that position. And two, like the one spot, I don't know how you feel about this, Herb, but it really feels like the one position that does need upgrading is that 5th starter. I really don't think that there's any other spot that truly needs a desperate upgrade. I think Garcia and Harrison will probably right themselves. I'd like to see maybe a more capable backup outfielder so we don't have to Sheets and Vaughn be the outfielders. But if those two are our DH, I'll be, mostly fine. What do you feel like upgrades need to be made with this team?
I'm listening to you and I'm saying, We need a second baseman, because today Steve Stone during the broadcast says we don't have a consistent second baseman. He's dead on. Josh Harrison and Luis Garcia is a platoon that is not championship caliber. They're good both at defense, but they can't hit worth a lick. We are doing a platoon in right field until our left fielder comes back, and then a platoon in left field until Eloy comes back too. And now our center field is gone, so we have to have Engel in center fields. Like, yes, injuries happen to everybody, but we don't have real depth. Like, a team that is in a championship caliber or a championship window should have some depth where you can bring up a guy that's giving you replacement level, at minimum, replacement level play. They don't have that right now. So I'd say Cueto's good enough. The 2 starts he's had, he's good enough for a 5th starter. He can do the exact thing I want, the 5 innings and 4 earned runs or less. He'll do that in his sleep right now, it looks like. So once Lance Lynn comes back, Cueto is my 5th starter, and we stop playing these games with Keuchel and then Vince Velasquez in this interim where Lance Lynn has to do 3 starts down there in Charlotte. You have Vince Velasquez pick up those innings, and you have to DFA Dallas Keuchel. But we don't have a DH, a solid DH. We don't have a solid right fielder, and we do not have a solid second baseman.
We don't have they're not solid, and that's the thing, is it's basically what Dave's saying right there. At least the ones that aren't lifetime utility players. I mean, that's the thing, is it is lifetime utility players. You don't have a true second baseman, but I don't know if there is that guy available.
There was that guy available. He's playing for the Boston Red Sox, hitting home runs. Trevor Story.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, they got cute with it. They made a shortstop a second baseman.
We could have did that
with the caveat that they're getting rid of their shortstop next year, and Xander Bogaerts, and not going to pay him, and then move that guy to shortstop. So it's a caveat.
We could have did that. We could have did the Marcus Semien thing.
Yeah, but so we couldn't really do that because Tim's not leaving.
No, Marcus Semien could have been the second base. He's playing second base for the Rangers. Second base.
No, that one's fine, but you have to pay him what you ended up paying $175 million compared to
money.
Story's $150. I know, but we need to lay it out for people out there. I know that's not our money. I don't give a damn. I was really happy with them just getting rid of Dallas Keuchel's contract and re-signing Carlos Rodon. I don't care about Jerry's money. It's not my It's not my money, right? Yeah. I just bet my money on PointsBet. But like outside of that, I don't care about that. But it's
even showing us the bad day by Marcus Semien, or bad year by Marcus Semien. I know he's going to rebound. I know Marcus Semien is not a guy who's going to hit 0 home runs.
Well, and go look
181, 286 and 477 OPS.
What was Manny Machado's first year in San Diego? Go look what he's doing in his 3rd year. Well, Francisco Lindor in his first year, he was horrible. He's great now in his 2nd year. Bryce Harper won an MVP in his 3rd year in Philly.
Yeah, and KPW, it's always process over results. The process to sign Marcus Semien, everybody would have been like, yes, he's having a bad year. And that's bad, but no one's going to say to, Chris Young, who's a former pitcher, who's a GM at Texas, like, no one's going to say to Chris Young, that was a bad signing. If you do say that, that's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to me, because that was a good signing to start a team off on the right foot, him, Corey Seager. They'll be fine at the end of the year. I think White Sox fans would be mad initially, like, okay, you're not hitting well, but at the beginning of the year, if we would have signed Marcus Semien or we would have signed Trevor Story, we would have said that Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams and Jerry Reinsdorf put us in the right position to win. Now, that player is not doing his job, but you can't fault the GM or the owner for that. Now, with this lackluster offseason, we can fault the GM and the owner because they didn't do a lot.
Here's the thing, too. It's like, looking at this, like Zach fake name saying, if you don't want your owner signing free agents, you're a bootlicker, knock it off. I agree with that. That's 100% true. There was a tweet out there saying, oh, look at the Rangers. They spent $500 million on free agents this year, and look at their roster. It's like, do you know what? You can throw money at problems, and they mostly will fix themselves. But also with the Sox thing is, the Sox haven't fixed any of their issues by throwing money at it, right? That's been our biggest feel. They've never given a contract out over $100 million. They're not really throwing money at problems, but it also doesn't feel like they're throwing at money to kind of invest in that resource to never make it a problem. You look at St. Louis. St. Louis is always investing in their ball club. They're always improving. They always have, the best farm system. They always have the best coaching staff. And you can just see that they're consistently having a franchise and an organization that consistently wins, that consistently produces their own ball player. And they're not looking for other guys out there or homegrown talent, right? Like they're able to take other people and grow them. And I just don't see that with the White Sox. I don't see that their ability to spend in free agents successfully. I don't see their ability to grow home talent. It really doesn't feel like they have an edge in any market outside of the international free agent market, and that market is drying up when they're going into a draft in the next couple of years. So it feels bleak, Herb. I don't know. I pulled up some possible pitching options. We got to wrap up the show. Jared Koenig, he's in the AAA option for the Oakland Athletics. You got Matt Moore, who's currently with the Rangers. You got
85-year-old Matt Moore?
Yeah, he's still around. Bruce Zimmerman with the Orioles, Jordan Lyles with the Orioles, Michael Pineda with the Tigers, Brady Singer with the Royals, Daniel Lynch with the Royals, Paul Blackburn with the A's, Frankie Montas with the A's, Jose Quintana with the Pirates, Wade Miley with the Cubs, Marcus Stroman with the Cubs, Tyler Mahle with the Reds, Luis Castillo with the Reds, Madison Bumgarner with the Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly with the Diamondbacks. That's it. Those are your options right there. And I mean, it really felt like the only ones you got up for were Montas, Quintana, and Stroman.
You can always give me Q back.
He'd be fun to see.
Yeah, he's having a decent year too.
He is, and it feels like he's gotten something figured out there. He's working north-south with his fastball and curveballs. Alex Root's thrown out Nathan Eovaldi. He'd be a fun one, too, but I don't know. I left the Red Sox off just because they're still somewhat in contending. I was just looking at the people who are outside of contenders, and Joe's saying, who are you trading, though? That's the thing. The White Sox have no one to trade, right? Gavin Sheets was their best trade piece going into the season. He looks horrible. Jake Berger doesn't have a position. Andrew Vaughn is untradeable because he's your second best player right now. There's no one to trade, and that's why it really does feel bleak. And hopefully they can just turn around their own issues, and then hopefully the roster themselves can turn around their issues. And
Alex,
help
I gave
right
a halfway thing for Merrill Kelly. I was like, I'm fine, but before that was Madison Bumgarner, so I was still kind of thinking about him.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly's all right. I mean, Kelly's kind of figured stuff out with Brett Strom in Arizona, so I mean, he might be a guy that could be interesting. I like Quintana just because he has a long track record. It'd be fun to see if they're sick of Brady Singer though.
And that's
I'd love to see Brady Singer.
They're not. That's the part of the actual part that hurts me the most. We're in the championship window. Like if we were just a sucky team where we could throw this season away. We could do like the Yankees did that year where they just threw it away and traded a bunch of people and then got right back into competing.
Yeah.
Like immediately. But we can't do that. We don't have a farm system. We're not the Dodgers. We're not the Padres. We're not other teams who stock their major league team and still have people left in their minor league club to supplement the pieces they need on the major league staff. Because you see that with the Padres. You see that with the Dodgers. We're supposed to be competing with these teams for the World Series. We're not close to that. We're not even in the same neighborhood. We're more in the Pittsburgh and more in the Cincinnati, Baltimore place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you there. Jack Schnitz saying, isn't there anyone dumber than us? Rex Smith saying this team is so tiring. This team is tiring. We're through 44 games. They're 22-22, second in the AL Central. But for the most part, I don't want to preach too much negativity here because there are still 122 games?
See, damn math, Sean.
116.
Vinny's been gone.
116
and I'm
games.
not the math guy either. God damn it, now I'm going to do it. All right.
They're still over 100 games
Alex
left.
Rude, you can do it
They
real
have
quick.
the softest schedule out there. They still can add to this team.
118.
They will get healthier.
Steven, thank you.
118 games left. I just be patient, right? We don't need to end the season right now because it does end in October, right? So let's just wait. You'd have the Cubs coming up. Let's see if they can win 2 this weekend against the Cubs. Then the schedule gets a little bit more easier once you get past June 16th, right? And then past June 16th, you should win every single game and they should sweep every single series, all right? And if they don't, then this team is a failure. But I've had about enough for tonight. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's the CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. You can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. We were produced today by Stephen Nicholas. I'm the host of the CHGO White Sox podcast, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to everybody for hanging out in our live chat, and we appreciate all of our podcast listeners who are listening to us the day after. We will see you on Saturday for a Cubs Sox pregame. We will also have a postgame for you as well, and on Sunday we'll have a pre and post as well with the CHGO Cubs crew. But for Herb Lawrence, Vinnie Duber, Stephen Nicholas, I'm Sean Anderson. We will talk to you on Saturday, and unfortunately, go Sox.